But the British visa came with a catch. You could only apply for one if you had already secured a job contract for domestic work. There was a shortage of servants in Britain, so the British humanitarian groups pressing to help Jews had finally struck a deal with the government. They would let Jews into the country if they were to fill a vacant servant's position. "But it's not so easy anymore," Sophie said in despair. "Scores of people are swarming to the British Embassy every day to apply for only 1 or 2 new positions. Everyone I know is trying to get a visa. What will we do if you're not picked?" "I will find a way to join you, visa or no visa. Frederick says that if things get any harder for us over here, we can cross the border into France." "How much harder can it get?" Sophie countered. "We can't get jobs. We can't go to school or to college. They forced us to sew these stars onto our clothes, and we're banned from shops and restaurants. Ever since Kristallnacht, we're being attacked on the streets and no one blinks an eye at it. Threats are painted on our doors and our property is vandalized for no reason. And what about those of us who simply vanish? No one's heard a word from Professor Reinhardt since he was called into the police station for questioning, and it's been more than a month now." "Don't work yourself up, Sophie. Things are never as bad as they seem. Both Frederick and I have exit visas, and we can go to Belgium or France. We're trying to get one for Papa to come with us, even though he's insisting on staying here, close to Mama's grave." She made a long sigh. Then, leaving the thought unsaid, she continued, "But we're still going to try to get the British visa, since it would also mean that we would have an income and a place to live when we arrive." She pulled away from Sophie, looking imploringly at her, eyes wide and insistent. "But Frederick will never be able to get a work visa," Sophie said. Although their neighbour Frederick was like a cousin to them, Sophie couldn't see how a bookish medical student would be useful in helping them escape from Nazi Germany. "There are hardly any advertisements for male servants, only the occasional gardener or footman. The vacancies are always for women, maids and housekeepers. If you wait for him to get one, you'll never leave." There was a moment of silence before Rachel said, "You're right, he might not. But if we have to travel through Germany to get to the border, he can help us. He looks more Aryan, and if I dye my hair blonde, we can pretend to be regular Germans. I've heard people talk about it, how they just cut the stars off their coats and walk down the street with their heads held high, as if they have nothing to be scared about. We can do that if we need to, Frederick and me, and Papa too. We can hide in plain sight and escape." Rachel glanced out of the window at the cherry tree petals cascading down. Then she got up and walked to the piano in the corner, arguably her favourite spot in the house. Frustratedly, Sophie followed her. "Then why can't I wait here with you?" "Because it isn't safe, Sophie. And the more of us that travel together, the greater the risk we'll be caught. You have to take this visa, for all of our sakes." Rachel let her fingers fall thoughtlessly onto the piano keys, playing the first few triplets of her usual piece, Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. Rachel was the musical one, the pianist, the notes an omnipresent echo through their home. As she listened, Sophie tried to memorize it for the future. Where would she ever hear piano music again? And where was she going to find a library like Papa's? What was she going to do without her books to escape to in these terrible times? A fear came over her for all that she was losing, and she clutched the slim volume of poetry in her hand, determined to slip it into her suitcase. In the middle of the slower section, Rachel's fingers slowed and stopped, the last notes lingering like unfinished thoughts. "Sophie, you know that Papa will not let you stay. Not when it means putting you in danger. If anything were to happen to you, he wouldn't be able to bear it. Not if you'd had the chance to leave. And our lives have already become so small here." Slowly, she got up and pulled Sophie toward the door, her voice a little more firm.